So a big part of building a business, building any business, is really building you first. And that's why you hear me talk a lot about a people first focus, whether the people are your clients, are your customers, or they're you. And what I see a lot in the 25 years that I've been in business and working with people is that we spend more time dreaming about our business, watching other people build their businesses, watching other people go for their goals than we actually do on our own. And so why is that? Why do we kind of get stuck? And a lot of times it's because we're waiting until we feel like doing something. And what happens is we fall back into doing what we feel like. So we feel like watching Netflix. We feel like eating those cookies. We feel like scrolling through Facebook. We feel like doing something that gives us an instant dopamine hit that makes us feel good, rather than doing the action that's actually going to push us forward to the goals that we have, to the dreams that we have, to the things that we say that we want. So I had shared, and I just want to expand on this, 5 ways to really take yourself from this dreaming into starting into an action place. Where do you start actually taking action and making things happen, right? And so one is, of course, using visualization. And I think we underutilize this because it seems so simple. It seems so almost childish, right? What do children do? They daydream. Children, they make up imaginary worlds and places, and they have entire lives that they create, right? And so sometimes when we think of visualization, we think, oh, that's so childlike. Why would I do that? That we forget the impact and the power that that has, particularly if one of the reasons maybe you're not taking action is fear of what could happen as a result of that action. And so when we spend some time visualizing, well, what are the potential roadblocks? How do I develop a plan to overcome potential roadblocks? Really imagining yourself, what is it going to be like when you achieve this goal? Do you see obstacles that might arise? Because that allows you to brainstorm on the front end. How will you handle those challenges? How will you set yourself up in case something does happen so that you don't get a setback? The second is to set up an accountability partner. This is crazy, the research on how much more likely you are to hit a goal simply by having an accountability partner. And this is somebody that you would share your goal with, and you would ask them, check in with me regularly. Let me know how I'm progressing. This really helps us feel motivated. It helps us be accountable when we have to tell somebody that we did or didn't do something. And often that also person could be working on a goal and they need an accountability partner back. So how do you find that? Well, you want to be careful on who your accountability partner is, because you want somebody who's going to elevate you. You want somebody who thinks the thoughts that you want to be thinking, somebody who's not going to let you off the hook, but somebody who actually really believes in you. They believe that you're capable of doing what you say you want to do. And so often that may not be a family member or a close friend. It may be either a mentor that you've hired to work with, a coach, or it could be somebody in your community. And this is why it's important to get plugged into communities and professional development communities and be around people who are like-minded, who have goals. And maybe you say, hey, I'd like to be your accountability partner. Would you like to be mine? And this way it's a two-way street. You're holding them accountable, they're holding you accountable. But it is worth finding that person. 3 is really incorporating your goals into your daily routine, that they don't become extra things that, okay, when I get to it, I'll get this done. I always tell my daughter, if it's not on my calendar, it doesn't exist. So if I say I want to write a book, but I actually don't open my calendar and see time set aside of when I'm going to write my book, guess what? It doesn't exist. It's not going to happen. It's the same thing if you say, well, I want to get fit and lose weight. If you don't open your calendar and see when are you going to the gym, it's not going to happen. And this could be anything. This could be, I want to rebrand myself. I want to launch a course. I want to update my LinkedIn. I want to, whatever it is that you want to do, if it is not scheduled on your calendar, it does not exist. And it really is just, it's a wish or a hope. It's not something that you're going to take action on. But when we sit down and we time block and we look and say, okay, if your schedule is like Swiss cheese, because most of us don't have hours or days set aside to work on these projects or to do this personal development or to create a new program. But if you think of your schedule like Swiss cheese, where are the holes? Where do I have small pockets of time that I could, for 20 minutes, work on a project, for 20 minutes, set up my podcast, for 20 minutes, send out, 10 emails. Where is that time set aside? And then proactively putting that onto your calendar. Of course, and you heard me talk about this, number 4 is really joining a community of like-minded individuals who share your goals. And this could be online. Now with the virtual world, you could find communities all over the world, but it could be in person. It could be in a club. See, being in a community, it gives you support. It gives you motivation. It gives you accountability. I believe there's a lot of power in community. And you hear me say all the time, community is your new currency. Community is important, and it's not just a matter of showing up once or twice. It's coming back. It's really, investing. I remember years and years ago, I used to host an event when I was living in Colorado, and it was for a larger organization, but I hosted a once a month networking event, and I saw this happen over and over. People would show up one time and they would say, well, what did I get from that one time? I didn't get anything from that. And then they wouldn't show up again, and they would think it doesn't work, or networking doesn't work. And the reality is nobody is going to back you, your business, your services, if they don't know you. We do business with people that we know, that we like, and that we trust. And how does that develop? It happens over time. And so finding a community and showing up regularly. If it's an online community, are you showing up regularly? Maybe it's a Facebook group. Are you posting and engaging and commenting regularly? People need to see you. They need to know what you're about. But you can get a lot of support from your community. And so it's important to be around people who share a similar vision, similar goals. Particularly, maybe you want to start a business, or you want to, be an entrepreneur, and nobody in your circle or in your family is in that arena. Well, you need to be around people who are going to think like that. You need to be around those bigger people who think like that. Right? And so where can you find your community? And I truly believe now with the internet, with virtual, and how everything has shifted post-pandemic, you can find a community anywhere. And the last is really using technology to your advantage. There are so many apps that will keep you on track, keep you progressing, allowing you to set reminders, to stay motivated. I know somebody who on her computer tells her every half hour what time it is. She said, because I can get lost on my computer and forget what time it is. So the computer actually speaks to her. It's like, it is 11 o'clock. And you go, oh my gosh, I can't believe it's 11 o'clock already. There's habit tracking apps. There's task manager apps, ways to stay organized. I will tell you, I am a Google Calendar girl. It is free. I love Google Calendar. I have multiple calendars. I have a calendar set up for my social media posting. I have a calendar set up for my team. I have my personal calendar set up. I have a calendar that's set up for all just the summits and speaking events and emails that I need to send out to promote different things that I'm part of. That's also set up. I color code everything so I can instantly look at my calendar. If it's green, that is my money-making time. If it's red, it's kind of like urgent, pay attention to this. And one of the ways that I use technology to really keep my to-do list clean is that I create an event in my Google Calendar, but I make it an all-day event and I make it red. And so what happens is that shows up right at the top of my calendar. And so when I go in for the day, it's basically my 6 most important things that I need to do, or my top to-dos for the day. I can see them in red. They're right at the top of my calendar. What's great is as I complete them, I can literally delete them out of my calendar app. I love that feeling of deleting and taking it on my calendar. And so if I know this is something I need to do every Monday, I can create it as a recurring event in my calendar that pops up every Monday right at the top of my calendar as an all-day event. So find a technology piece that works for you. Everybody has a different style. What is going to be great for you? Do you love an app that tracks things? Do you like using all the alarms and, your virtual assistant on your phone, like your Siri, to set alarms and to remind you to do things? You have to figure out what works for you. We are all wired differently. And successful people have figured out how they're wired and what kind of support they need for their own unique wiring. What's really important is that we take action towards our goals. It is really not enough to wait until we feel like it. If we wait till we feel like it, nothing will happen. We need to take action before we feel like it. And that way we will have what we actually want, not what we actually feel. I hope this helps. Make sure you connect with me at Tara G online.